What's going on, guys? This is the SGPN Fantasy Football Podcast, and we are back. We're here to talk about some rookies, and don't forget to check out our friends over at Cut. We're on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, and we're brought to you by Cut. Cut is peer-to-peer social betting platform that is U.S.-based and available in 40 states. Head to cut.com, that's cut.com, K-U-T-T, and use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use promo code SGPN and get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Don't forget about our Super Bowl 58 props contest. Pick 58 Super Bowl props for a chance to win $1,000. Enter today for a free sports gambling podcast at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/SB58 or at the SGPN app. Yeah, go download the SGPN app. It's pretty cool. So we're going to talk about this, and we're going to try to fly through these. We don't want this to be a super long show for you guys. Rookies are here. Let's talk about them. All right, so we got the first pick in this draft. This is Superflex rookie draft on Sleeper. And so everyone, I want you to know, if you go to your settings and you're doing mock drafts, make sure you put Dynasty and then put 2 quarterback, and the ADP will match up. If you don't do that, the ADP is going to look super wonky. It's even got guys like Torrey Horton that are not even eligible in this draft. So the first pick was Caleb Williams. Then we had Marvin Harrison Jr., Drake May, Malik Neighbors. Then we had Brock Bowers, Jalen Daniels, Roman Dunze. Then we had Troy Franklin, J.J. McCarthy, Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy, and Keon Coleman for the first round. So, Brad, you went with Malik Neighbors here. A lot of people would have went Jaden Daniels here. Some people would have went with Brock Bowers. What's going on? Is this Anthony Richardson 2.0 for you?
No, this is a guy who is a steal at 4. And if anybody's taken somebody over Malik Neighbors after the previous 3 have come off the board, you said some people would say it's wrong. They're all wrong. This is Malik Neighbors over and over and over again. 50% of snaps, roughly, as a freshman. Then he follows that up with a 1,000-yard sophomore season. Then he follows that up with an almost 1,600-yard junior season. He's number 1 PFF rated wide receiver by qualified guys. He's got great size at 6 foot, 200 pounds for today's NFL. He's got explosiveness. He's got quickness. He's got acceleration. He is the total package for that team. I love it, and I'll take it every time, and twice on Sunday at number 4 with Malik Neighbors.
All right, I'm going to do my best Lee Corso, and not so fast, my friend. Jaden Daniels is an absolute monster. As far as a PFF is concerned, he had the second best college football season of all time. And you look at Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels did it differently. But like I just remember the quote tweet of Lamar Jackson's college football highlights. And the guy said 31 teams looked at this and said, nah. Like, how are you not intrigued by Jaden Daniels? I could argue that he is the 101 over Caleb Williams. He had a better season than Caleb Williams. He had a better season than Drake May. And you look at it just from a rushing perspective, he blows him out of the water. But I'm talking about his passing game. His passing game was phenomenal. He put up better numbers against tougher competition than both Caleb Williams and Drake May. And you're looking at super flex. So that's another factor here. I absolutely love Malik Neighbors. And who was his quarterback? It was Jaden Daniels. I think there's an argument for him to go as high as 101. I would have probably taken him at the 103 after Caleb Williams or Marvin Harrison Jr. We don't know what the fit is going to be like, and that's what could shuffle the whole deck up. We got Alex Van Pelt is going to be the offensive coordinator for the Patriots. The Commanders have Cliff Kingsbury. He's no longer going to Thailand. Now he's interested in coaching. They're talking about the Commanders possibly trading up. We know what the Bears are going to do. So we don't know where these quarterbacks are going to go. We most likely are going to see Caleb Williams going to the Bears, then either Drake May and Jaden Daniels going to the Commanders, then Marvin Harrison Jr. going to the Cardinals, and then we'll see who goes to the Patriots. Brock Bowers up here at the 105 spot. Do you feel like this is too high? There's no tight end premium. What are your thoughts?
No. So the biggest concern I have with tight ends most of the time, and we saw it with Kyle Pitts, is the playing time, the ability to block and be on the field 24/7, every play, no matter what. Brock Bowers can do all of that. He's not coming off the field. He's a very TJ Hawkinson-esque type of player, a guy that can catch, a guy that can block, a guy that can play inside, the guy that can play outside, does a little bit of everything. It does it all really well. So I'm okay with it. I think it's a little high for tight end premium, or for not being tight end premium. But with tight end premium coming up in the world and more people playing it, this is a very likely spot for him to fall.
Yeah, and we'll go through our individual rankings and new episodes. We just want to go through this draft real quick. I took Troy Franklin here. It was either going to be Adunze or Franklin. Both these guys are going to go in the first round. Adunze's he's being mocked to go in the top 10, but Troy Franklin's not far behind in the top 18. So these guys are going to be very interesting to see how draft capital goes. But I do think that any receiver taken in the top 20 is going to be instant. Someone that you're really looking into instantly, and you're not going to see it like last year where all the receivers dropped into the mid-20s. These are some studs. These are some top guys. And then J.J. McCarthy snuck into the first round. He's interesting. There's, a lot of guys talking about the NFL likes him a lot better than you think they do. His stats are really mundane. They're really like, wow, this guy's going to be a first-round pick. That's why he could be a possible top 10, top 15 pick. Teams could trade up for J.J. McCarthy, even though Michael Penix and Bo Nix put up video game type of numbers. So Brad, let's talk a little bit before we go into the second round. We can't do this show without our friends over at DraftKings.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're looking for a super offer for Super Bowl 58, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. New customers can bet on the big game and turn $5 whole into $200 instantly in bonus bets. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use our promo code SGP. New customers can bet $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, which is an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 58. Again, with our promo code SGP. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly and on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours. That's 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. So, our other one and our other best friend is going to be Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy has a way to play alongside your favorite fantasy football players all season long. NFL, NBA, NHL, college basketball, college football, you name it, they got it covered. Simply pick higher or lower on your favorite players' fantasy stats, and guess what? You cash in. You can win up to 100 times with some of those spicy plays. I'm going to tell you this week, tomorrow, we got Super Bowl 58. I'm rolling with the Patrick Mahomes over 4.5 rushing attempts.
Higher
than 4.5 rushing attempts. So watch along, make your picks, and maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up with our promo code FFSGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit of up to $100. Again, that's Underdog Fantasy, promo code FFSGPN.
And don't forget about our contest. If you use the FFSGPN and you're a new customer, you could win this trophy behind me, or $100, or a Keenan Allen signed mini helmet. We are giving away 3 prizes. You get to pick your prize to the first 40 entries. Just take a screenshot, send it over to sgpnfantasyfootball@gmail.com. So second round, we got Braylon Allen, Trey Benson, Michael Penix, Blake Corum, Ladd McConkey. You have Donnie Mitchell. We have Jonathan Brooks, Bucky Irving, Devontae Walker, Bo Nix, Malachi Corley, and then we have Jatavian Sanders. So, Brad, your pick here was Blake Corum. I said it was predictable. You got a type. And so, what are your thoughts here? If it was Braylon Allen or Blake Corum or Trey Benson or Blake Corum, was it always Blake Corum?
Yeah, it probably was. And like you said, I've got a type. I like the bigger, bruising type of running backs. You look back a few years ago where I'm loving Javonte Williams. It's the same style. I want a guy who just runs with some anger, can produce some touchdowns for me. And that's what we saw out of Blake Corum. He had 18 touchdowns last season before his big knee injury. Then he come back this year and had 23 touchdowns. Now you look at his metrics and maybe they declined a little bit, but that's less than a year removed from injury, and that's typical of what you see from running backs when they return from injury. So I love the capabilities. I love what he brings to the team and that just really bruising type of mentality. 45 total touchdowns for this guy over the last 2 seasons, 2,700 rushing yards. I absolutely love it. Blake Corum for me is probably, I'd say number 2, because if Trey Benson was there, there's a chance that I go in that world. But I'm rolling with Blake Corum currently as my number 1.
Yeah, and so doing a lot of mock drafts, looking at ADP as far as projected mock drafts, Blake Corum is expected to be the number 1 running back off the board. So I am going to sing his praise a little bit. And if he goes to the right landing spot, he could be amazing. You look at the Chargers with Greg Roman and with Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, that would be an amazing fit. I've seen him to the Baltimore Ravens. That would be an amazing fit. And you're looking at a guy, if he gets second round draft capital in those spots, in those run heavy offenses behind those run blocking offensive lines, could be amazing. It's not that he can't catch. Blake Corum can catch. And so I want to differentiate. All running backs can catch, but catching a dump off pass, doing little things like that are different than guys that you're trying to get in space. There's a different way of catching the ball than what Jahmyr Gibbs and Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey do. Those guys can get out in space. Those guys can run routes. Those guys can act like receivers. And that's something that Trey Benson can do. And that's something that interests me about Trey Benson. Braylon Allen, it's going to be very interesting. Or Braylon Allen, it's going to be very interesting what he does at the combine and see how fast he is. You've seen the long speed, but does he have the quickness? Does he have the 10 split that we're looking for? Penix goes off the board instead of Nix. Both those guys are very close, and I think draft capital is going to separate them. They're kind of clustered together. But if you could say I could trade back from the 203 and get Bo Nix at 210 plus like another second or future second, people are going to want to do that. These running backs, you notice no running backs in the first round, and probably the best running back out of the entire class is Jonathan Brooks. He goes 207. He is probably the best back in the class. And the reason that people are afraid to put him at number 1, he tore his ACL in November. And he's a 1-year wonder. Well, he's a 1-year wonder because he sat behind Bijan Robinson. So let's debunk that. Guys have torn their ACL. Blake Corum, we're talking about him right there. Some other guys that have had ACL injuries. Jonathan Brooks is a young back. He's a stud. He's the most fluid runner in the class. And you're looking at a guy with great size, great dual threat capability, steal at 207. And then Bucky Irving. Last year, I think we all learned a little bit about body types. And we need to stop thinking that every running back needs to look like Saquon Barkley. Every running back does not need to look like Saquon Barkley. It definitely helps. And I think passing the eye test, it would be nice if Tyjae Spears and Jahmyr Gibbs look like that. It'd be nice if, not everybody, was under 200 pounds like Devon Achane. They were really good at football and really good in the NFL. And you look at these guys, Pac-12 has been hated on for years. It sucks it's going away because it was the best year it's ever been, offensive and defensive side of the ball. I absolutely love Bucky Irving. I love what he can do in space. This guy's got special juice, and he's going to light up the combine. He's going to be someone that rises up the boards after the combine. I'm scooping up at 208. I don't think he's going to be available this time when we do our actual drafts.
Do you think Brooks can be in the low 4.4s?
Well, he's not going to run, so we don't know.
Like that to me is what I really want to know, right? He's got really good breakaway numbers and he had a great season, like you said. You can't really look at those 2 years prior to that because you got guys like Roshan Johnson and Bijan Robinson that were playing ahead of him. But You saw him get unleashed before his injury this year, and he looked really freaking good. And he looks like he's pretty fast. He's got good size at about 210. We kind of hope he comes in maybe a little heavier. But if we can get that speed in the low 4.4s, I think it's going to be a very exciting prospect. Like you said, we won't know, but that's what's in my head right now. How fast is this guy? Does he really have that breakaway speed that we saw in some of his college game?
So a guy that you guys might not be familiar with, or you maybe are, is I think on everybody's sleeper board, and it's Malachi Corley. This guy's a yak monster. He put up some crazy stats, and everyone is hoping that he's this year's Tank Dell. And so another smaller receiver, not from one of the top schools, but this guy put up gaudy numbers, and he is a great player. And let's talk about like the Senior Bowl. Every year they kind of talk about like there's this guy nobody can cover. Calvin Austin was that guy. Last year was Tank Dell. Daniel Jeremiah said like this guy just like he just pops. You can feel his energy.
He's much bigger than Tank Dell also, isn't he? He's like 250. He's more like Debo type size, isn't he?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But smaller again, like I meant smaller school. Yes. Then you have Jatavian Sanders here, the second tight end off the board. He's got second or third round draft capital. I don't know if you're going to see, you're not going to see the same like juice from the tight ends like we did last year. We got spoiled a bit. Imagine taking Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, putting their numbers together. I mean, there was three really top 10 tight ends from this last class. Sanders may not be that, so I'd be a little patient. I don't know if I would take him in the second round, but again, it's a position you're really looking for, and this is kind of a zone where it just pick your flavor. So before we go into the next round, I want to make sure to talk to you guys about our Super Bowl contest. Super Bowl 58 props contest, $1,000. Winner takes all. Free to enter. Just download the app, pick 58 props for Super Bowl 58, or you can go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/SB58, and you can check out the link on the app. Don't forget our friends over at Cut. That's KUTT. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that is U.S.-based and available in 40 states. It's player-to-player social betting is a new way and a better way to bet. Bet directly against your friends or other users on sports, politics, pop culture, and other events with verifiable outcomes. Tons of fun social features that gives you a feel of a better social network. Cut offers lower VIG and fully customizable odds. Create your own bets. Cut handles the payment side of things, and so you never have to chase anyone down for money. Social features equal group chats, better betting leaderboards, head-to-head history, user profiles, fan groups, and more. And your rewards get cash back every single time you bet against friends or others. Our partners at Cut are giving away $5,000 to the user who refers the most new depositors by the end of the Super Bowl weekend. All you have to do is invite your friends to sign up for Cut. Use the invite friend button on the dashboard and have them deposit before Monday. The user with the most deposit referrals will get $5,000 in site credit automatically added to their account next week. Cut is the peer-to-peer social betting platform that is U.S.-based, available in 40 states. Head to cut.com, that's KUTT.com, and use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. And don't forget about the Game Time app. I know my son's a WWE fan. We're already looking at stuff for his birthday, and I have already gone over to Game Time, checked out the seats, and I got his birthday plans already set. You're buying tickets for your favorite events it can always be a stressful thing. No longer with Game Time. It's the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and the best prices guaranteed, you can stop stressing over tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you're going to be having. Again, Game Time is the place for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months ahead. Game Time Advance has deals right up to the day of the event, even flash deals on tickets for football, baseball, basketball, concerts, comedy, theater, everything. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. You can get the images of the seat before you buy it. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds. 2 taps and you're set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your emails. All right, we got the third round. Xavier Leggett, another interesting guy, bigger guy, had really a one-year wonder. He's a little older, 23, And so this one might scare some of the analytics folks, but it's hard to look at the tape and not be a fan of Xavier Leggett. We got Jordan Travis and Spencer Rattler. Travis had an amazing season. It'd be great to see him go through the combine and do all this. They were undefeated and didn't go to the college football playoffs because he was not going to be able to play. That's how much of an impact this guy had. And this guy is a transfer that played really well, but really, really played well over there with Keon Coleman and Trey Benson and Jaheim Bell over there in Florida State. I hate to see this. He's a little bit undersized, and I think that might be a concern. So when you see the measurements, we'll see. He's got some rushing ability, but he's not going to be able to show any of that this offseason because of that broken ankle. Spencer Rattler, another guy that, I think he's an NFL quarterback. I watched QB1 back when he was 17. Didn't like the kid. But he was 17, and he was the number one ranked quarterback as far as recruits. I'm sure that was a lot of pressure and a lot of things. Sounds like he's grown up. Daniel Jeremiah says all reports from South Carolina and Oklahoma that this guy is a great kid. And he was benched in Oklahoma, but for Caleb Williams. And then the offensive coordinator went to South Carolina, and he said, Spencer, you're coming with me. Spencer Rattler played really well. He's played in the SEC. And so he's going to be one of the top guys off the board.
Yeah, I try not to hold 17. There's not very, I don't even think I'm going to like my daughter at 17 years old. So I don't know if there's many 17-year-olds. I'm like, man, I really like that kid. He's a great kid.
And so Brad got the group chat rolling with this one. Roman Wilson at the 304. Everyone said, man, I wish I would have, took him in the second round. Roman Wilson, I think I got him in my top 24. He could have easily gone there at the could have gone there as high as my Bucky Irving pick. That's where I was thinking about taking him. I know that Mace over there, Callie King, was thinking about taking him. So let's talk a little about Roman Wilson before we finish up the third round.
I know Michigan and the helmet scouting and whatnot, but you see what guys like Nico Collins have done, and Donovan People-Jones had flashes. Some of these receivers that come out of Michigan, they are talented wide receivers, and you saw him actually play really well this season. He accounted for over 50% of the touchdowns, receiving touchdowns, by the receiving team in Michigan through his career. He's got good size from a 6 foot, 190-ish pounds. So he's not undersized, but he's not one of those big, huge, tall guys. He's got great speed. He's a really good route runner, which really gets me excited if you think about the guys that I've liked historically in the past. Look, Senior Bowl, he did himself some help. Right. He had some great body control catches at the Senior Bowl, and there's hype and talk about him possibly being a second round pick. And if I'm getting a second round wide receiver in the third round of my rookie draft, you sign me up every single time. So I love Roman Wilson here at the 304.
Yeah. And I hate to break your heart. He's not going to go in the third round of your rookie draft.
No, probably not.
He's going to go second round because he's probably is going to get second or third round draft capital. He played outside for Michigan. He's probably going to play inside, and this guy's got some special speed. He's probably going to run in the 4.3s. And so he just was on a run heavy offense, so he wasn't really featured. And so now people are really starting to come on to him.
That's what I'm talking about. Like that helmet scouting, people think of Michigan. They're like, we don't want anything to do with their wide receivers.
Yeah, and he's completely different body type than Nico Collins. He's closer to Tank Dell. But he's got good size, good speed, and he, like you said, crushed the Senior Bowl. Jalen Polk, talking about speed, this guy's got it in spades. Easy speed guy. He overtook Jalen McMillan over there in Washington. We have Marshawn Lloyd. I think he's going to go a little higher than where he did. He's a really good player out of USC. I saw that the football guys have him as their running back one. Audric Esteem, then Will Shipley. I really didn't like this pick for myself. I wanted Ryan Schrader here, but he's not available. Brennan Rice, yes, that is Jerry Rice's son. Ricky Purcell, he is one of the best YouTube highlights you'll ever see. YouTube Ricky Purcell catch, and you will be amazed. You have Jacob Cohen, and then you have Dylan Lobb. He's interesting player. I mean, he's like he's a pass catching running back. Probably might play a little bit of fullback in the NFL. But this guy can really catch the ball, and so he might be able to carve out a role in the league, and people are very interested in him. So, Brad, before we get out of here, let's talk about Hall of Fame bets and then go to the fourth round.
For sure. So Hall of Fame bets, win bigger and bet by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame bets, a sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame bets revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down leg by leg, as well as expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame bets apps or visit hofbets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame bets. And I got a quick story on it. I got a buddy of mine, huge into player parlays, built an 18-leg parlay using Hall of Fame bets to help him out. He didn't win, but he had 16 out of 18 legs. When you're that close, you know the system works. So check it out, hallofamebets.com. And our promo code SGPN.
Man, that's pretty good.
16 and 18, that's
like
money
10,
right there. Yeah.
Nailed it. So Cade Stover, Ben Sinnott, Michael Pratt go off the board. Michael Pratt is interesting. When you look at him, he's from Tulane. He's got a little bit of rushing ability on top of his passing. He's a small school guy. People have him above Travis and above Rattler. We'll see where the NFL has him, and that'll tell you a lot about where he goes in your drafts. They have Ray Davis. Brad had to get his Kentucky boy. Jermaine Burton, Alabama receiver. We don't usually see where Alabama receivers go in the first round and the fourth round, but this he's a good player. And if you look at a lot of scouting websites, he's a lot higher on the boards, but because Alabama's offense was just not good this year, he's getting a little bit of hate. This guy is, I won't call him Marvin Mims, but he's got that kind of deep ball tracking ability that you're looking for. This guy's got great body control. He makes great contested catches, and he's got some serious speed. Jalen McMillan's out there. Johnny Wilson, I think he's going to convert to a tight end. This guy is 6'7", 39 pounds. I mean, I want to see what the official measurements come in, because when you see him on the field, he looks like a giant. Like, he's just an absolute giant. It's the same thing when you see like Jelani Woods and those kind of guys going down the field. I forget who was the fantasy footballers I talked about. The one guy that was super, super tall, Mo Alley Cox.
The Colts also.
Yeah.
Hey, you think what's over under the Colts take him? That's
Frank Reich's no longer in town. Frank Reich's no longer in town, but this could be a guy they're eyeing up. Frank Gore, Theo Johnson, another big tight end. This is a lot of tight ends here. Then we had Dylan Johnson, Jaheim Bell, and Jamari Thrash. Jamari Thrash, my boy Popes really likes him. I need to look more into him. Again, a lot of tight ends going here, a couple auto picks to be honest. But Brad, let's talk about Ray Davis.
Yeah, look, I get it. I'm a Kentucky boy. I got to have my resident Kentucky guy. But again, this is my type. You got a bigger guy, 5'10", over 215 pounds. I'm hoping that's about where he sticks. But look, 1,000 yards of Andy last year. Transfers to Kentucky, 1,000 yards for Kentucky. And Kentucky had a pretty solid offensive scheme this year. I was pretty happy with the movement that they made. And as big as he is and as powerful as a runner that he is, he still has some breakaway speed. So that is really what's going to it's going to be the crux for Ray Davis. If he comes in and runs like a 4.55, he's not going to be a day 2 running back, day 3 running. He's going to be a later pick in the NFL draft. If he can get that speed up a little bit and prove that he has some of that breakaway speed that can translate into the NFL, I do think that'll help his situation a little bit. He does have a ton, the one thing, and I think this is about where he lands, late 3rd, early 4th round of your rookie drafts. He is a guy that is not, he's got a ton of yards after contact, but it's not a lot of yards after contact per attempt. That's I rather use that metric than yards after contact. So we just pay attention to that a little bit. He can get taken down by some ankle tackles and things like that. So I'm not letting my Kentucky fandom pull him too high up the board.
Yeah, there's other guys considered here. Isaiah Davis from South Dakota State. Like I said, and Javon Baker, you don't see him on the board. He wasn't available. Ryan Schrader wasn't available. I would drafted those guys above Will Shipley probably. So looking at the board, Sleeper's still catching up with some things. The combine's coming up here soon. I'm hoping to attend. And so make sure you guys give us a follow. All shows plan to be under 30 minutes here with the Dynasty portion of the SGPN Fantasy Football Podcast. Any questions, let us know. As always, good luck this season.
Cheers.